Hi, I'm about to present our second company, which is the Pentagon Maritime Foundation Incorporated.
Let's go now to the company profile of Pentagon Maritime Foundation Incorporated. Pentagon Maritime Foundation Incorporated is totally committed to achieving the highest management standards with particular emphasis placed upon continuous upgrading and improvement of skills of our personnel in order to ensure customer care and provide client-related requirements. We are committed to enhance clientele requirements through continual improvement and effectiveness of the quality management system. The goal of Pentagon Maritime Foundation Incorporated is to provide the highest quality of learning education by bringing the gap between the classroom and workplace through the use of technological advances, highly competent instructors, and effective systems, all within the framework of practical pricing, which aims to produce total satisfaction for all end users. It envisions a future where the Filipino seafarer continues to dominate the world's shipping labor, as well as producing Filipino educators that provide learning experiences that create positive transformation and lasting impact in the entire global shipping institution.
For the industry classification, it belongs to services. Type of business, it is a maritime institution. It is established on October 2002 and licensed in Securities and Exchange Commission on November 13, 2002. After analyzing the ratios, we've come up with this statement of the problem. The general problem is that the company is suffering from profitability problem. Its revenues is not enough to cover its costs and expenses. Taking a look at the profitability ratio, first is the profit margin ratio. In 2009, we have a profit margin ratio of 0.05. In 2010, we have a 0.09 profit margin ratio. In 2011, we have 0.02. In 2012, we have 0.01. And in 2013, we have a negative 0.06 of profit margin ratio.
The trend of the profit margin ratio is on a downward pattern, but let us also analyze the ratio per year. In year 2009, there is a profit margin ratio of 0.05. It means that for every 1 peso of sales, there is only 0.05 centavo of net income. Seems unfavorable, right? How about in year 2010? 0.09 profit margin ratio. Yes, it goes up, but still unfavorable. In year 2011, 0.02. It goes down, worse than year 2009. In year 2012, 0.01 profit margin ratio, worse than previous year. And in 2013, negative 0.06 profit margin ratio, worst after 5 years. Negative profit margin ratio only implies that the company's costs and expenses are higher than the sales. Too bad for the company.
And for our first specific problem, there is a net loss after 5 years.
Yes, it is true that the company incurred a net loss in year 2013. Why did it happen if the company's revenue is in increasing trend? Let us go back to the profitability analysis. Take a look again on the profit margin ratio in year 2013. They had negative 0.06 profit margin ratio. And as I said earlier, negative profit margin ratio only implies that the company's costs and expenses exceeds its sales, meaning the increasing trend of the revenue is useless when the costs and expenses of the company exceeds too much that will result to a net loss. We all know that the Pentagon Maritime Foundation Incorporated is a non-profit organization. But being designated as a non-profit doesn't mean that the organization does not intend to make a profit, but rather that the organization has no owners and that the funds realized in the operation of the organization will not be used to benefit any owners. They still need to generate surplus revenue. that must be retained by the organization for its self-preservation, expansion, or plans. Let us go now to the segment-specific problem, which is the net income is too low to generate higher returns from assets. Our second specific problem is reflected in the return on assets that can be found in the profitability analysis. In year 2009, they had 0.08 return on assets. This means that for every 1 peso of asset, there's only 0.08 centavo of return or earnings. It is too low for the company. While in year 2011, it goes up with 0.19, but still low and unfavorable for the company. It suddenly dropped into 0.04 in year 2011 and dropped again in year 2012 into 0.03. Because of the net loss in the year 2013, they incur an ROA of negative 0.19, which is very bad for the company. The ROA trend is on downward pattern, which is unfavorable. And for our third specific problem, the net income is too low to create proceeds from investment. The third specific problem is reflected by the return on equity that can be found also in the profitability analysis. In year 2009, they had 0.2 return on equity, which is favorable. They had 0.35 in year 2010, which is also favorable. But in year 2011, it suddenly dropped into 0.07. But it greatly increased in year 2012 with 0.76. Yet, greatly decreased in year 2013 with negative 0.5. Why is that there is a fluctuating ratio of return on equity? Why can't it be stable? The return on equity of the company is very unpredictable, and we all know that the return on equity is a very important measure of the profitability of the company. And that ends the video presentation for our second company, Pentagon Maritime Foundation Incorporated. Thank you.